between loop diuretics and thiazide diuretics. This is a simple mnemonic to remember. Loop loses everything. So the loop diuretics we can administer maximum 20 mg IV, but we should administer over 1 to 2 minutes. Potassium sparing, retaining diuretic, and the second is potassium excreting diuretics. Osmotic diuretic is only administered intravenous, is the most important inflex pharmacological topic. If you want to know in-depth detail about diuretic, watch this video till end. So first we'll discuss the difference between loop diuretics and thiazide diuretic. So loop diuretics, the drug that ends with mide or the drugs that ends with nide, both comes under loop diuretic. It's an easy way to remember. Mide, for example, furosemide and toracimide, and the drug that ends with nide, for example, bumetanide, both comes under loop diuretics, and ethacrynic acid is the exceptional drug, and that comes under loop diuretic. Next, in the thiazide diuretics, the name of the drugs that ends with thiazide, for example, hydrochlorothiazide and chlorothiazide. Thiazide, the drug that ends with thiazide. Next, we'll discuss about the potency. Potency, like how the drug work inside the human body. If we talk about loop diuretics, they are highly potent. Highly potent, they're used in a major or they're used in a chronic diseases. For example, the patient is having chronic kidney disease, heart failure, severe edema. So loop diuretic having high potency to remove the excess water from the body. And the thiazide diuretics, they also remove the excess water from the body, but they are low to intermediate. They have a low to intermediate potency, so that's why they are not used in chronic diseases, just used to relieve mild edema. Next, we'll discuss the effect of diuretics on the electrolytes, especially sodium, potassium, calcium and magnesium. These kind of electrolytes are mostly affected. So loop diuretics and thiazide diuretics both decreases sodium as well as potassium from the body. Both decreases sodium and potassium from the body. Next, if we talk about the calcium, the loop diuretics decreases the calcium, but thiazide diuretics increases the calcium. So here is the difference. Loop diuretics decreases the calcium. Basically, loop diuretic decreases sodium, potassium, calcium. So that's why it's easy way to remember. Loop lose everything. This is a simple mnemonic to remember. Loop loses everything. Loop diuretics loses everything, expel out everything from the body, either it's sodium, potassium and magnesium. But the thiazide diuretics, easy way to remember, thiazide 3H, they cause hyperglycemia, hyperuricemia and hypercalcemia. Thiazide diuretics cause hyperglycemia. So before administering thiazide diuretic to the patient, it's the basic responsibility of the registered nurse to check blood sugar for the patient. If the blood sugar is high, thiazide diuretics are contraindicated. Every time before prescribing, always check the blood sugar. And the second is hyperuricemia. They also uplift, increase the level of uric acid in the blood. If the patient is on thiazide diuretics and the patient complained excessive pain in the joints, then hold the medication, update the doctor, because thiazide diuretics causes hyperuricemia. And next is risk for dehydration, as well as they also cause hypercalcemia. So thiazide diuretics also increase the level of calcium in the blood. So always remember hypercalcemia, when the level of calcium rises in the blood, the patient is also at risk for pathological fracture. Next, we'll discuss about the risk for dehydration. Loop diuretics, they cause diuresis. They expel out excessive fluid from the body, increase urination. So this is the reason loop diuretics cause dehydration. Thiazide diuretics also cause dehydration, but the extent for dehydration is high in loop diuretics, but in thiazide it considered as a moderate level. Next we'll discuss about the ototoxicity. Ototoxicity is the infection in air. Never administer IV push to the patient because the loop diuretics may cause either temporary or permanent deafness. So the loop diuretics we can administer maximum 20 mg IV, but we should administer over 1 to 2 minutes. On the other hand, the thiazide diuretic ototoxicity is not associated with thiazide diuretic. Followed by the pregnancy use. Both the diuretics are not safe in pregnancy, but thiazide diuretics as compared to loop, they are safer. Drug interaction. Loop diuretics cause digoxin toxicity as well as lithium toxicity. For example, if the patient is on digoxin medication, loop diuretics decrease potassium inside the body. When the level of potassium decreases, the level of digoxin increases in the blood. The same as lithium. When the level of sodium decreases in the blood, lithium causes toxicity. So same in the case of thiazide. Thiazide diuretics also cause digoxin and lithium toxicity. Very important NCLEX tip, always assess potassium level before giving loop diuretic to the patient, because the loop diuretic, they act as diuresis, remove excess fluid from the body, increase urination. When they remove fluid from the body, ultimately they cause imbalance in the electrolytes. So this is the reason, always check potassium level before administering loop diuretic to the patient. So in thiazide diuretics, watch for low potassium and high glucose, because thiazide diuretics cause hyperglycemia, hyperuricemia and hypercalcemia. So this is the reason, carefully watch for the level of potassium and the level of blood sugar. Followed by the potassium sparing diuretics. Potassium sparing diuretic example is spironolactone and aldactone. Diuretics are divided into two categories. One is potassium sparing retaining diuretic and the second is potassium excreting diuretics. If we talk about spironolactone, they comes under potassium retaining sparing diuretic. They elevate the level of potassium inside the body. So this is the reason they are contraindicated if the patient experience hyperkalemia. There are certain kind of ailments, for example chronic kidney disease, renal failure. The patient who are having such kind of problem, they are retaining potassium inside the body. In this condition, spironolactone is strictly contraindicated. So closely monitor the level of potassium before administering potassium sparing diuretic. And the patient also should avoid potassium rich food such as bananas, green leafy vegetables, potatoes, avocados. These kind of foods should be avoided, as well as salt substitutes are also contraindicated, because when the level of potassium either it increases or decreases, both cause cardiac dysrhythmia. So this is the reason, any patient who are at risk for hyperkalemia, potassium sparing diuretics are contraindicated. So NCLEX tip, do not prefer with potassium supplements or ACE inhibitors. So if the patient experiences the problem of hyperkalemia, do not prefer with potassium supplement as well as ACE inhibitors. So what are ACE inhibitors? ACE inhibitors are the drugs that ends with pril. Easy way to remember, Tom eats large pizza and running fast in bench car. This is an easy mnemonic to remember the pril drug. Diuretics, always remember diuretics can cause electrolyte imbalance. So last one is osmotic diuretics. Osmotic diuretics are used to expel out the fluid from the brain, or the patient experience the problem of increased ICP, increased intracranial pressure or increased IOP, intraocular pressure. Usually intraocular pressure increases in the patient who are having the problem of glaucoma. So osmotic diuretics, for example, mannitol is given to the patient just to solve the problem of cerebral edema. Osmotic diuretic is only administered intravenous. The major risk for this drug is the drug can cause crystallization. So this is the reason always use IV filter. IV filter is used to administer the osmotic diuretic. When we administer osmotic diuretics, when we prescribe osmotic diuretic to the patient, closely remember the GCS scale. Closely remember the Glasgow Coma scale just to monitor the progress of the disease and the adverse effect, because osmotic diuretics basically cause fluid displacement. They displace the fluid from the tissue to the blood vessels. So fluid displacement basically cause certain kind of complications such as jugular venous distension, crackles and edema. So basic responsibility of the nurse is to check crackles, to check the lung sound on the priority basis. Next is special consideration. So these are the very important points. Always remember, always administer diuretics in the morning because they increase urination. So the best time to administer in the morning. Otherwise, they can cause disturbance in sleep and the patient may experience the problem of insomnia. They also cause orthostatic hypotension. Diuretics expel out the fluid from the body. When the body fluid decreases, they also lower down the blood pressure. Always check blood pressure. If the systolic blood pressure of the patient is lower than 100, do not administer diuretic to the patient, hold the medication and update the doctor. So closely monitor potassium with potassium excreting diuretic. I already explained diuretics are divided into two categories. One is potassium sparing and one is potassium retaining. So closely monitor the patient with potassium excreting diuretic because now the patient is at risk for hypokalemia. So decreased potassium can cause changes in the ECG strip. When the level of potassium decreases, that cause ST segment depression and flat T wave. So always monitor the level of potassium before administering diuretic to the patient. Encourage potassium rich food with loop diuretic and thiazide diuretic because both the diuretic decreases the level of potassium in the body. So diuretics basically loop diuretic and thiazide diuretic except one ethacrinic. This also comes under loop diuretic, but this is exceptional. Both the diuretics, either loop or thiazide, are contraindicated in patient having sulfur allergy, but this is safe. Ethacrinic acid is totally safe either the patient is having sulfur allergy, and this also comes under loop diuretic. So that's all about diuretic. We explained each and everything. If you are still experiencing any question or any concern, if you are still experiencing any problem in diuretic, DM us on the number given below. Thank you so much.